promised, I have my budgeting tips for this uncertain time in March. And it kind of came about last week when I was doing my budget check-in on my groceries. And so I came up with a list of tips that I think will help you. So first and foremost, I just want to say I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I don't have any of those cute little letters behind my name. I'm just a mom who pays attention to her family's finances. So I thought these tips would help you. And I also want to say in the same breath that I understand budgets are personal. They're unique to every situation, to every family. So with much respect, I hope you take these tips with a grain of salt and just look at your budget, especially in this kind of crazy time that nobody really knows what's going on. So, like I said last week, I was looking at my budget, my grocery budget. We had recently moved, and we had used up all of our stock, all of our pantry items previously to our move of March 6th. And then this happened. And I was scrambling for a week trying to restock our family's pantry because we had moved. We needed food. So I looked last week at our budget and I kind of wanted to see where we were number-wise. And to my surprise, in the 17 days in March, we had exceeded our monthly budget in groceries. And I was just like sitting there with my eyes wide open, like, what happened? And then it dawned on me that when I went to the store, that it's really slim pickings out there. You're not getting your best value for dollar, right? You're getting kind of what's left. So if you're someone who doesn't buy organic, but that's what they have, you're going to grab it because you don't know what's going on. Those are your choices. So you're paying, so let's say there's organic pasta sauce, it's $6, but you only usually pay $3. That's an extra $3 that you're gonna have to find somewhere in your budget for this sauce. It's because you don't get to have these variety of choices anymore. And so I realized that very quickly, that you're kind of just taking what you get. And so my first tip would be automatically to look at your grocery budget. And I would have to say to bump it up. And I don't mean to stockpile. I mean because your choices of food, your dollar to value ratio is really, really small. And you're kind of just taking what is out there. So I would have to say, look at your grocery budget, see where you're at. And you're probably gonna have to pull from other categories to make that budget work. I think I'm gonna have to up mine, I think by 10 to 15% just to be safe. Just like I said, your opportunities, your value for goods is really slim. So look at the grocery budget, decide where you're gonna pull some money from, because I'm almost guaranteeing you that that's gonna go up, if not it hasn't already. So there's my first tip, is look at your grocery budget. My second tip is to go down to a bare bones budget right now, just because things are so uncertain. But you gotta kind of ask yourself, like, where are you coming from? When I'm saying go from going from discretionary spending to a bare bones budget. Are you doing it out of fear or because you foresee a financial situation coming about? Like with layoffs, I know a lot of companies are saying work from home, which is also a blessing. But evaluate your budget, go to a bare bones, cut out your discretionary spending. So your restaurants, your fun money, no one's really going out right now. So your discretionary spending obviously is going to be a little roped in already. But if you're someone who doesn't have an emergency plan or emergency money, discretionary spending is a good way to start that, and you can cut it. So go to bare bones, get your necessities covered. And then if you do not have a budget, and this is my tip number 3, I would have to tell you to be proactive. And what I mean by this is call your creditors, your mortgage servicing provider, landlords, anybody you owe money to, call them and let them know your situation. And I do this as soon as possible if you haven't already. Little story. I stressed myself out for 30 days one time when I knew I couldn't make my credit card payment. I just didn't answer the phone call. I didn't even call them. And when I finally did talk to someone, I almost feel like they had a tongue in cheek when they were talking to me, like, why didn't you talk to us sooner? We would have been able to help you. And I wouldn't have had to stress for 30 days. So save yourself the stress, the anxiety. Call them, be proactive in your finances. And when I did that, when I finally did talk to these people, they were actually super kind. They were able to retroactive a late fee for me. Even they cut my interest and they made it retroactive, and they deferred payments for 6 months. So I'm sure now, with the situation and the environment of everything, these creditors already know that a lot of people are going to have a hard time making payments. So they probably already have a plan in place, but you won't know that until you talk to them. So tip number 3 is to be proactive, give them a call, and talk to them about the situation. And then lastly, I said I would do a mention to investing. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. Investing is something that has always just kind of grasped my mind into like what is going on in that world over there. And I've read so many books in the past 18 months of getting to know my finances. And always these investing sections in these books is about like this big. You know why? Because it's so simple. And I realize that now. So there's an economist, his name is Bill Miller, and I will quote him, he says, now is an exceptional buying opportunity. The Dow, the S&P, they all have fallen into what they call bear market zones. So that means 20% and lower. He says to look at investing very serious. And if you're someone who has always kind of just tiptoed around it, I would say also do your research. Start reading a little bit of articles here and there. YouTube it, has a ton of information. Get to know some financial advisor, financial guru, and see what they have to say. There's a book I'd like to recommend. It's called Wealthy by Design by Kimberly Foss. She's out of Roseville, California. And I would head over to her website and see what she has to say, but there's a book that you could read. It's like maybe 300 pages. You could read it in a sitting. And she gives great advice. She's a financial planner about investing too. So investing, I know it can be scary, but my little tidbit, in my opinion, would be to pay attention right now to the industries that are being most affected by this situation. I think that's me saying a lot with not trying to say too much. So there's my investing opinion. I don't even want to say anything else for SEC reasons. So there's my opinion on investing. If it's something that has interested you, or you just kind of want to take the leap, do your research now, and I'm pretty sure your future self will thank you for it. So if you have any questions about these budgeting tips, leave them in the comments. I'm also on Instagram at House of Adriana, where I'm a personal finance enthusiast, and I always want to see someone win with their own money. So if you have any questions, comments, you can ask them on Instagram or leave them here. But until next time, I hope these helped you.